stop what you're doing for just a second, because whether you love him, hate him, or try your best not to think about him at all, Donald Trump has a set of work habits and productivity patterns that are honestly shocking. And here's the twist. This isn't a political video. This is a productivity video. Because behind the headlines, the rallies, the tweets, the drama, and the skyscrapers, there are a few specific behaviors, some admirable, some questionable, some downright bizarre, that can teach you a lot about getting more done, protecting your energy, and moving faster than everyone else. So in this video, we're covering the top 10 shocking Trump facts you didn't know that'll instantly boost your productivity. And to be clear, you don't have to copy the man. You just have to steal the useful parts. Let's get into it. Fact number 1. Trump was obsessed with speed, especially speed of decisions. One of the most consistent stories from people who worked around Trump, both in business and in politics, is that he doesn't like long, drawn-out decision cycles. He'll ask a few questions, get a gut sense, and then move. Now, is that always wise? Obviously not. Quick decisions can be wrong decisions. But here's the productivity lesson. Most people don't have a decision problem. They have a hesitation problem. They'll spend 2 weeks researching a microphone to start a podcast, or they'll debate for a month whether they should launch a side hustle, or they'll keep tweaking a logo instead of selling something. Trump's pattern, again, not always correct but undeniably productive, is this: decide faster, then adjust. Because the cost of delay is invisible, but it's brutal. When you delay, you don't just lose time, you lose momentum, you lose confidence, you lose the emotional energy you had when the idea was fresh. Here's the practical takeaway you can use today. Set decision deadlines for small and medium decisions. Give yourself 10 minutes to pick the restaurant, 30 minutes to choose the software, 24 hours to decide on the offer. Then lock it in, move on, and trust future you to course correct. Productivity isn't about making perfect decisions. It's about making decisions that keep you moving. Fact number 2. Trump weaponized branding like a productivity system. Most people think branding is just marketing, a logo, a color scheme, a slogan. But Trump treated his name like an asset that reduced friction in every deal. The Trump label didn't just decorate buildings, it shortened negotiations. It attracted attention. It set expectations before he even walked into a room. Now you might be thinking, I'm not building hotels. How does this help me be more productive? Because personal branding done correctly is a productivity tool. When people know what you stand for, you spend less time explaining. You get fewer mismatched requests. You attract the right opportunities and repel the wrong ones. That means less wasted time, fewer awkward meetings, and more of the work that actually matters. Here's how to apply it. Pick 3 words that define what people can count on you for. For example, fast, clear, reliable, or creative, strategic, calm, or technical, thorough, honest. Then make your actions match. In your emails, be fast. In your work, be clear. In your deadlines, be reliable. When people associate you with a predictable outcome, your life gets simpler. And simplicity is productivity. Fact number 3. He was a master of focus through selective attention. Here's a strange one. Trump is famous for being distracted by the news cycle, reacting to criticism, and chasing attention. But the hidden productivity fact is this: he's also incredibly selective about what he takes seriously. People who worked with him have often described the same pattern. If something isn't moving the main objective, he ignores it or delegates it. That's a skill most people don't have. Most people treat every notification like it's equally important. Every email feels urgent. Every comment feels like it needs a response. Every small issue becomes a big issue. Selective attention means you decide what gets your emotional energy, and emotional energy is your real fuel, not time. Here's the practical move. Create a not my problem list. Yes, an actual list. Write down 3 things you keep emotionally picking up that you shouldn't. Maybe it's online arguments, maybe it's office gossip, maybe it's trying to fix everyone's mood. Then decide, if it doesn't change my results this week, it doesn't get access to my brain. You don't need more focus. You need fewer things competing for it. Fact number 4. Trump relied heavily on checklists, briefings, and short summaries. This surprises people, because he's not known for loving long reports. But that's the point. In high-speed environments, long documents slow things down. Trump preferred short, digestible summaries, bullet points, key figures, a simple narrative. And if you want a productivity boost, you should too, because reading and writing long, complex explanations for everything is one of the sneakiest forms of procrastination. It feels like work, but it often delays the real work. Try this. For any project you're working on, create a one-page commander's brief. What's the goal? What does success look like? What are the top 3 priorities this week? What are the biggest risks? What's the next action? If you can't explain your project simply, you don't understand your project. And if you don't understand it, you'll stay busy without getting results. Fact number 5. He used deadlines, hard deadlines, as a forcing function. Whatever you think of Trump, one reason he gets things moving is that he's comfortable applying pressure. He'll set a deadline publicly or privately and use that deadline to force decisions and action. Most of us do the opposite. We wait until we feel ready. But readiness is a lie your brain tells you to stay safe. Deadlines are a way to make progress inevitable. Now, here's the important part. You don't need stressful panic mode deadlines. You need clear deadlines with consequences. A consequence could be as simple as, if I don't finish this by Friday, I have to email my accountability partner and explain why. Or, if I don't ship the landing page by Sunday, I can't start any new projects next week. Make the consequence real, and your brain will suddenly find motivation it swore it didn't have. Pressure, used wisely, creates focus. Fact number 6. Trump was relentless about negotiation, and negotiation is productivity. This sounds weird, but think about how much time you waste because you didn't negotiate. You accept meetings that shouldn't exist. You accept timelines that are unrealistic. You accept tasks that aren't yours. You accept unclear instructions and then waste hours fixing mistakes later. Trump's whole identity in business was built around negotiation, getting better terms, creating leverage, asking for more. And you can use the same principle in normal life without being aggressive or annoying. Here's the productivity play. Negotiate for clarity. Before you say yes, ask questions like, what does done look like? What's the deadline? Is this the top priority or one of many? What happens if we don't do this right now? Can we cut the scope in half? These questions save you from hours of wasted effort. The biggest productivity killers aren't tasks, they're unclear tasks. Fact number 7. He built his schedule around high-impact moments, not constant grind. One of the strangest myths about productivity is that the most productive people are grinding nonstop, every hour, every day. But many high-output individuals structure their day around a few key moments. Meetings, decisions, calls, media appearances, where their presence creates leverage. Trump's approach often looked like this: high-impact interaction, then downtime, then another high-impact interaction. People judge the downtime and call it laziness. But downtime can be recovery, and recovery protects output. Now, I'm not saying you should watch TV for 5 hours and call it strategy, but I am saying this. You don't need to be busy all day to be effective. You need to identify your leverage activities. Here's how. Ask yourself, what are the 1 or 2 actions I do that create most of my results? For a student, it might be focused studying and practice tests. For a creator, it might be filming and editing. For a salesperson, it might be prospecting and follow-ups. Then build your day around those. If you get your leverage actions done, you're productive, even if the rest of the day is lighter. Fact number 8. Trump delegated aggressively, sometimes controversially. Delegation is one of the most obvious productivity strategies, but most people do it terribly. They either don't delegate at all because it's faster if I do it myself, or they delegate without clarity, then spend even more time cleaning up. Trump's style, according to many accounts, was to hand off tasks quickly and expect others to execute. Again, not always fair, not always elegant, but undeniably a productivity amplifier when done right. Here's how you can delegate in a normal life. Step 1. Delegate outcomes, not just tasks. Instead of, can you work on this document, say, can you produce a 1-page summary with 3 options by Thursday? Step 2. Set a checkpoint. Send me a rough draft by Wednesday afternoon so we can adjust. Step 3. Accept that it won't be identical to how you do it. Delegation isn't cloning yourself, it's buying back your time. And if you're trying to grow your career, your business life, your channel, you can't do everything forever. Fact number 9. He understood the power of repetition, saying the same message until it sticks. This one is almost comical when you notice it. Trump repeats phrases constantly. Catchphrases, labels, slogans, simple lines. People make fun of it, but repetition is not a flaw in communication. It's a feature. And in productivity, repetition is how you create habits. Most people try a new routine for 3 days, miss a day, then quit because they think they failed. But high performers repeat the basics so many times it becomes automatic. They don't rely on motivation. They rely on repetition. So here's your productivity takeaway. Pick one simple daily anchor habit and repeat it until it's boring. Maybe it's writing a to-do list every morning. Maybe it's 30 minutes of focused work before checking your phone. Maybe it's planning tomorrow the night before. Boring is good. Boring means it's becoming a system. And systems beat motivation every time. Fact number 10. Trump protected his confidence like it was a resource. This might be the most shocking and the most useful. Because regardless of criticism, regardless of controversy, Trump projects confidence constantly. And yes, sometimes it crosses into arrogance. But confidence is a productivity multiplier. When you believe you can figure something out, you start faster. When you believe you can handle feedback, you ship sooner. When you believe you can recover from mistakes, you take action instead of freezing. Most people don't fail because they're incapable. They fail because they hesitate. They second guess. They overthink. They wait for permission. Trump's confidence, again, not always grounded, not always accurate, is protected at all costs. And you can do a healthier version of that. Here's the practical version. Create evidence of competence. Keep a wins list. Write down finished projects, compliments from clients, grades you earned, hard things you survived. Your brain forgets quickly. You have to remind it. Then, when you're facing a new challenge, you're not relying on hype. You're relying on proof. That's real confidence. And real confidence makes you faster. Now, before we wrap up, let's tie this all together with a quick Trump productivity blueprint you can actually use without becoming a chaotic headline. 1. Decide faster, adjust later. 2. Clarify your personal brand so life has less friction. 3. Practice selective attention and guard your emotional energy. 4. Simplify your work into one-page briefs and clear checklists. 5. Use deadlines as a forcing function. 6. Negotiate for clarity before you commit. 7. Build your day around leverage actions, not constant busyness. 8. Delegate outcomes with checkpoints. 9. Repeat one daily anchor habit until it becomes automatic. 10. Protect your confidence by collecting evidence, not ego. And here's the final thought. The goal of productivity isn't to do more for the sake of doing more. It's to create results with less stress, less wasted time, and more control over your life. You don't need to agree with someone to learn from their patterns. You just need to be observant enough to extract what works. So if you want to boost your productivity starting today, pick just one of these facts and apply it for the next 7 days. Just one, because small changes, repeated, turn into big outcomes. And if you want, watch this video again tomorrow and pick a second one. That's how you build momentum. That's how you build systems. And that's how you become the kind of person who doesn't just talk about goals, you actually finish them.